The 1995 Chrysler C300 earned the nickname the Banker's Hot Rod.
The 1995 Chrysler C300 provides for a proper riot as the first production car with 300 horsepower. The BMW and Porsche slog at this time with a maximum of 100 horsepower. In the preceding car in 1951, Chrysler presents its first ever V8 engine with 180 horsepower. The Hemi, its hemispherical-shaped combustion chambers, provide a performance advantage over the competition. Already in 1955, the 300 horsepower C300 was then the most superior car in the NASCAR race scene. Already in 1955, the 300 horsepower C300 was then the most superior car in the NASCAR racing season. Oldsmobile and Buick had no chance, and today the Hemi engine enjoys cult status under the U.S. car fans.
The 56 model enlarged the legend with more victories. There were minor changes of trim and major changes of horsepower.
The optically almost unchanged V8 coupe is now called the Chrysler 300B and delivers a whopping 340 horsepower and should win more victories. The races at the time take place in, amongst other areas, on the beach at Daytona Beach. There were also oval racing tracks already, but not yet with asphalt, and Chrysler also wins the 1956 NASCAR title. The car is considered as America's most powerful car at this time. Today, not only the full performance of the 1955 Chrysler C300 impresses, it is especially the breathtaking, unfussy lines of the bright red two-door car that inspires. Head Chrysler stylist Virgil Exner is responsible for the, in 1955, newly introduced advanced design line. All group brands, as well as Plymouth, DeSoto, and Dodge, benefit from the so-called Ford look, long hood, short rear, and a low roofline. The enthusiastic customers bring the Chrysler Corporation record profits. However, the exclusive 300 model contributes little to this. The expensive niche model only runs off the production line about 3,000 times from 1955 to 56. Ridiculously low compared to the more than 430,000 times concern bestseller, the Plymouth Belvedere. But the potent Chrysler 300 at least makes for a powerful image boost through its sporting success. At speed tests on dried salt lakes, the 300 horsepower two-seater reaches 210 kilometers an hour. Even almost 60 years after its premiere, the metal skin of the rare coupe almost looks as if it came from one cast. Quite confidently, the 300 wears its rich chrome trim. Nothing is out of place. Only a few years later, the era of the wild, overloaded fin cars arrives. In 1955, there were only a few bashful approaches, and most of the designers themselves know where the styling journey would go in future. Inside the inscription, power steering can be read, but the power steering costs a few hard dollars extra. The pretty steering wheel, the intricately designed instruments, and automatic transmission are standard, as is the two-tone cockpit and the beautiful clock. It can only be wound by hand, as was customary then, but then runs for 8 days. 8 days long. The two-door car can seat up to 6 people. Even with a petticoat entry into the lined with leather interior should be easy. Lush also the trunk, not difficult, with a good 5.5 meters exterior length. Even more lush, the V8, good 5.4-liter engine with 300 horsepower pounds on the Powerflight 3-speed automatic. Even today, the C300 is an exclusive automobile. Nowadays, to find one in a good condition is like winning the lottery.
The lady that owned the car wrote Mr. Iacocca and wanted to sell it. Well, the letter was sent down to my desk. I called the lady, she was in West Virginia, and it was a car that she had, her husband bought new, and he had passed away, and she knew what she had was kind of a gem here. And I talked with her, and I had to go down to West Virginia in a few weeks after that, and stopped and visited with her and saw the car. Had a great visit, and the car was sitting in the garage, flat tires, dirtier than heck. And we communicated for about a month and ended up purchasing the car. She knew what she had. I didn't steal it. We got a fair price.
Today, the powerful thrust and rich V8 bubbling with which the Hemi engine pushes the luxury coupe still impress. The 3-speed automatic transmission has an easy game with a rich torque range. The power steering deserves the title more servo than steering, although smooth but also very indirect in the translation. Nevertheless, the 300 at its time was seen as a genuine sports coupe, at least in the United States. Chrysler only built the 300 in this form for just 2 years. 1957, the newly styled successor arrived, and year after year, the designers dilute the harmonious shape more and more. Early 60s, demands falls, and 65 is then the end.
The 55 Chrysler 300 prototype is now one of the most sought-after collectibles in the U.S. car scene. Just like the Dodge and Plymouth muscle cars from the same group,